I always thought Tomb Raider 2 was considered the best of the classic games. After surviving the original, I thought the sequel would fix my problems with the first game. Instead it seems to have flipped. Everything I liked about the first feels like it's gone worse, and everything I dislike has gone better. So why is that? Released just 1 year after the original, they wanted to get as many games out as soon as possible, to build off the success of the first game. This meant not a lot could be changed or improved between entries. This does lead to this game feeling rushed in some areas like the story. The story is simple like the first game, but is poorly told. Lara is looking for an ancient dagger, but also an evil cult is looking for it as well, because the dagger can turn people into dragons. This is a fine setup, similar to the first game, but it lacks the personal stake. In the first game, Lara is betrayed by Natla, so she's out for revenge as well as raiding tombs. In this one, she has no connection to the bad guys or the dagger, she simply wants it. I don't think Lara and the bad guy even share a scene together. There is nothing for me to latch onto here. It doesn't help she barely talks during the game or does anything cool. It feels like she does nothing considering she is the main character. There is only one memorable moment for me, and that's the very last cutscene. She's about to get into the shower after defending her home, which is a sick final mission. But before she gets in, she turns to the camera and says, "Haven't you seen enough?" and shoots the screen. It's a fun way to end the game. It's a shame the rest of the game can't match this energy. The pacing is what's really hurting the story for me. At the end of the first level you find a locked door. Lara will then spend the rest of the game looking for the key. It makes it feel like you went on an 8-hour diversion instead of anything important happening. This is also not helped by the cutscenes being so far apart. I actually got confused because I forgot what the plot was. You're looking for Bartoli, that's why you go to Venice. Then for some reason you go to an oil rig and end up deep sea diving. Then you spend hours swimming around just for those levels to end after she picks up some random item. Then some monk is like, "We have to stop this cult." I'm just there like, what cult? It makes more sense looking back at the cutscenes, but it doesn't feel like it when there's 4 fucking hours between cutscenes. Apparently Bartoli is on the plane. How was I supposed to know that? I thought he was the pilot. Also, when Lara's holding the back of the submarine, her head should have popped from the pressure. She goes down 40 fathoms without a helmet. Nobody plays Tomb Raider for its plot besides me apparently. They play it because every few levels you're suddenly somewhere completely different. Another odd choice this game makes is not having very many tombs to raid. There is a lot of modern locations like Venice, an oil rig and a monastery. It feels wrong. I want to be exploring long-forgotten tombs, not an opera house in the middle of the city. There is nothing wrong with doing this if the levels are well designed, but it definitely changes the mood and atmosphere compared to the first game. I enjoyed the isolated feeling of the original, but that is kind of ruined when she's only a few minutes away from McDonald's. This also doesn't help with the new human enemies somehow being in every other bloody room. Even on the Titanic knockoff at the bottom of the ocean. How did they get there? They hadn't even got scuba suits on. Whilst I'm here, let's talk about them. This is the big change to the combat. Lara will be fighting way more human enemies than animals this time around, because the first game didn't have any human enemies. I didn't enjoy fighting the wild animals in the original, because you had to awkwardly jump around, but I really enjoyed the human enemies in this one. In the Venice level where they're introduced, it seems like they're going to be unfair. They will shoot at you whilst you're trying to get out of the water. If you try jumping around, they'll just shoot you. I found a much better tactic at getting behind them and blasting. It feels like they struggle with the combat as well, because they don't know what to do when Lara's behind them. This made the combat a breeze for me. It's weird, the combat was the worst part for me in the first game, and now it's the best in this one. The goddamn birds could go fuck themselves though. They always spawn multiple together and Lara cannot aim upwards. The combat is better than the first game, but it's still not good. For the first game I said I enjoyed exploring levels and doing platforming for the most part. Realistically it hasn't been changed much here. Every complaint and praise I gave to the original applies here. It would be a waste of time to repeat it. But for some reason I didn't enjoy it as much. I was into it for the first half of the game, but the moment I finished the underwater levels, this game became a real chore to finish. Every level is really straightforward, you're still looking for levers and switches to progress into the next room. There still aren't any traditional puzzles. The levels are still the puzzle. This was fun. I really enjoyed the oil rig levels because I always knew what I was doing, and they were fairly short and to the point. Then for some reason after that, every level is massive and goes on and on. It feels like an endurance test. The levels are designed where you keep coming back to the starting room, which should be a cool bit of design. But for me it was a reminder of how little progress I was actually making. Every room starts blending together until I'm not exploring a shipwreck anymore and just swimming through 50 shades of blue. The first game somehow managed to make each level feel distinct even if it was in the same location. I don't know if I was just getting bored with the game or the levels actually got way bigger. It could be boredom as Lara hasn't got any new moves. It just felt like playing the first game again. Except, are you sitting down? Lara can climb ladders now. I know, we need to calm down. I can see the back of the box in all capital letters. Ladders. Dad, we have to play this one. She can climb ladders. She's also slow as fuck at climbing them. It's draining. It felt like the Snake Eater theme song was going to start playing on every ladder. And of course they're everywhere because they're a new hip mechanic. I pray to God they reduced the amount of ladders in the third game. To be fair, they added zip lines as well. They're only like 3 in the game, but hey, they're here. I'm also mixed on the change they made to secrets. Instead of having lots in the levels, every level has 3. If you find them all you get a bonus, like lots of ammo or a new gun. I think this leads to levels feeling less fun to explore overall. Even though the pickups were quite pointless in the first game because of the save system, it was still fun to find them. Here you're going to find the free secrets and that's it, the fun stops at 3. I'm just now remembering the other new pickups you can find, flares. I have an unreasonable amount of hatred for these flares. They deliberately made areas darker so you're forced to use them. They don't last that long and it's a little annoyance having to equip them, watching the flare case open, then close every time. It's not even a resource management thing because the game gives you an ass load. I can hear you saying, well, it's more realistic to have dark areas in old tombs. Yeah, do you know what else would be more realistic? Packing a goddamn flashlight. She's a millionaire Tomb Raider, bring one of those wind up ones. It's stupid, I don't know why it annoys me so much. The last thing they added was vehicles. You get to drive boats in Venice and snowmobiles in the mountains. These are a fine addition but they feel terrible to control. I feel like I needed a warning every time I drove one. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Driving these things feel less like operating a vehicle and more like wrestling an angry shopping trolley. You are on rough terrain to be fair, it just feels really rough. I did enjoy working out you have to send a boat into the mines to get past. I did enjoy making precise jumps with the vehicles. They are too loose for making perfect jumps. At least they aren't ladders. I also managed to save myself a headache as I looked at the controls before playing. I would have never worked out how to exit a vehicle otherwise. Why would you press roll and right? Why would it not be one button? This could have been explained in the tutorial, but it wasn't. After the first game's craft manner caused me a lot of pain, I'm happy to say this one is slightly better. It does teach you all of the moves, I just don't understand why she only tells you the buttons after you have failed an obstacle. Like if you played this one first you'd have to fail every jump just to learn the basics. I still think these games need a manual on the main menu. The bonus levels give absolutely no context on what Lara is doing, and they just cut the credits when you beat them. I genuinely thought she was fighting the Cold War, which got me questioning when these games are set. Ultimately I'm shocked how much I didn't enjoy this game compared to the original, considering it's basically the same thing with a few changes. Maybe I should have played these so close together. It's kind of put me off playing the third one, as I would imagine it's going to be the same thing again. I came into Tomb Raider 2 expecting the definitive classic. Instead I found a sequel that improves almost everything I disliked about the first game, while somehow making me miss everything I loved. It's still good, but bigger isn't always better. Time to rank it. Obviously it's below Tomb Raider 1, the story is worse and that game didn't bore me by the end like this one. I'm feeling number 65. I had more fun with the exploring and combat than I did with Scorn, which felt like more of an experience than a game. But I can't put it above the Cosmic Shake, as that game wasn't anything special, but at least it was engaging till the end. New number 65. I think we've all seen enough Lara.